So today I'm making some sushi. I'm going to make peanut avocado roll and shrimp tempura roll. I just finished cooking my rice. It is, you want to make sure that you have sushi specific rice. And then when it's all done cooking, by the package's instructions, you add 1/4 of a cup of rice vinegar. And you just like toss it in there, like just fluff the rice. And you want it like this type of consistency. And now we're just gonna let this cool because it is steaming hot and you don't want to make sushi with steaming hot rice. And I'm gonna prep my vegetables and everything over here, and then we're gonna make some sushi. Okay, so this is my first time making sushi and I don't have a sushi mat, so bear with me. Let's see how it turns out. So you want to leave like a little bit empty up here, so I'm just gonna fill from here down. My finished sushi platter, we have peanut avocado, shrimp tempura, shrimp tempura, shrimp tempura, and like a California roll type thing. So not bad for my first time making sushi. Okay, meal number 2. Today we're making empanadas, which is my favorite food from Argentina. So I just buy these. They're like the tapas, they're called, like they're like the empanada, and you just fill them. You can buy these from like any, I guess, like Spanish market. And I'm going to make some ground beef ones and some with corn. So I'm going to show you guys when everything is prepped and how I do it. Okay, so I prepped all my vegetables and everything. So I have my corn, onion, and cheese will go for the corn one. And then we have for the ground beef one, we have green bell pepper, onion, green onions, parsley, and we're going to put some olives in there and a hard-boiled egg. So I'll show you when that's all together. Okay, so we have some grapeseed oil and garlic heating up in here, and we're just gonna dump the ground beef, and you want to make sure you break it up. And we're just gonna add all these ingredients once the meat is broken up, and let the meat brown. So once everything is cooked, I just added a hard-boiled eggs, and I also added raisins. If you can see them, I like raisins in it. So, but in this you can really add whatever you like. It's like what the meat of your choice. You can choose like ground turkey, ground chicken. I chose ground beef, and I put in those toppings. So now I'm just gonna let this vibe out on the side because you don't want to pack the empanadas when this is too warm or it will break it. So here's our corn mixture, and usually you probably want to have a little bit more corn, but I only had one corn stalk, so that's what you get. And here's our meat mixture. So now I'm just going to show you guys how I pack the empanadas, and you want to put them on a like sprayed, buttered up, oiled baking sheet, and we're going to turn the oven on to 400. Stay tuned. So now I put some of my corn mixture in, and I want this one to look differently because it's a different mixture inside. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna fold it over and tighten the edges, like make sure they're tied in together. And with a fork, I'm just gonna press them down. The reason you do this is because you want to make sure that the edges are tightly closed, or else the liquid from the filling can start coming out. So I'm gonna put that one over here. and keep going. I'll show you when I'm all done. So I made a small amount of empanadas because it's not for a lot of people. So I have my corn ones here and my beef ones here, and now I'm gonna put them at the oven at 400 for about 25 to 30 minutes, but possibly more. You just want them to get brown. So the ones that I closed that way didn't explode. The ones that I did with just the fork did. And I kind of, like, you could have cooked them a little bit less than I did. But I'm going to plate them and you won't see any of that. Stay tuned. And our empanadas are done. Yum. Bonjour from France. Today we are making crepes. So I just prepared my toppings, which I will have strawberry, banana, and Nutella, which I'm going to put into a piping bag so that I'm like fancy with the crepes. Now I'm going to prepare my mixture and I'll show you guys what I put. And then you're going to grab a ladle full, maybe a ladle and a half, depending on the size of your pan, of course. I think just one is good because they are supposed to be thin. And then you're just gonna go like this so it is round, and I'll show you guys how that looks. So right now you can see that the crepe is basically ready. I didn't flip it or anything, I just kind of let it cook itself. And I'm just gonna plop it onto my cutting board. Okay, so now I'm gonna pipe Nutella onto half. Top it off with some whipped cream and enjoy. Hey guys, so today I'm gonna make something I tried while I was in Morocco. It's called Msemmen, and it's basically like a tortilla, like their version of one. And I'm gonna make the dough, and I'm going to show you how it's folded and how it's cooked. So now I have a teaspoon of yeast, dried yeast. You're just gonna dump it into a cup of warm water. It should have a cup and a half of warm water, and you're just gonna mix it until you get rid of like all the clumps of yeast and the water becomes like a white color. And then when you don't have any more of that, you're gonna add your warm water into your mixture. If you have a KitchenAid, you can add the dough hook right now, and you're just gonna add the warm water. And I didn't get rid of all the clumps. Nobody's perfect. And then you're just gonna mix it on medium for like 5 minutes. If you don't have a KitchenAid, you will just flour your counter and do it with your hands, but it will take longer, maybe 10 minutes. So since I have this, it will take 5 minutes. So now, once your dough is all ready, it should be like a good consistency. You're going to make sure you have a floured surface, and you're going to cut it into like golf ball size balls. This is like a little big to be a golf ball. That's like a golf ball, right? And you're just going to do this to your whole dough. So now, still making sure your hands are oily, you're going to grab one of your golf balls and you're going to flatten it to be a very thin, like sheet. you've flattened it, you're gonna fold it into thirds. And you're gonna add butter. And you're gonna add semolina. And fold it into thirds again. And it's done. So with oiled hands, once you've prepared your like folded over sheets, you're going to, with your hands, flatten it, but keep it in a square shape because that's the shape that they're traditionally in. So you're just gonna flatten it as best you can into a thin square. And then I'll show you how we cook them. So now on your oil on medium heat, you're just gonna plop it in there and let it cook, flipping halfway through. And here is the finished product. You can eat these sweet with honey or jam or jelly, and you can also eat them salty with whatever you want. They would serve them in Morocco for breakfast a lot. So you'll see that they're really flaky in the middle from all the layers of folding it over and over. Enjoy! Hey guys, so for the last recipe of this series, I'm making tres leches cake from Mexico. I'm going to be showing you how to make everything from the cake itself to the liquid you pour on top and the icing that goes all the way on top. And if you guys are interested, make sure you watch. Okay, so the first step, you're going to sift the flour, baking powder, and salt. So 1 cup of flour. So now we're gonna separate our eggs. You wanna separate 5 eggs and put the egg yolks into a mixing bowl. So now you're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar and beat this on high for about 2 minutes. So when your mixture becomes this pale yellow color, you are going to add the milk and the vanilla. So I just added a teaspoon of vanilla and 1/3 of a cup of milk, and now I'm gonna beat this. So now you can mix it again. And that looks good, and now we're going to gently combine this into this. So when your mixture is well combined, this is the egg yolk and the flour. Make sure you're going to beat your egg whites on high speed until they form soft peaks. So when your peaks have formed, you're gonna add in the remaining 1/4 cup of sugar and beat again till it's incorporated. Now that it looks like this and fully incorporated, we are going to fold it into our flour mixture. So when your mixture is fully combined, you're going to pour it into a buttered and floured pan. This one is a 9 by 13. Now you're going to put the cake in the oven at 350 degrees for about 35 minutes. So before you take it out of the oven, you just want to poke it with a knife and make sure the knife comes out clean. cake is ready. Now we let it cool completely. So now that our cake has cooled pretty much, we are going to make the milk mixture, which is 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, a can of condensed milk, and a can of evaporated milk. So we're just gonna get that mixed up in here and I'll show you the rest. So lastly, you're gonna take a fork and you're gonna poke holes in the entire cake. Now we're gonna pour our mixture. It's going to look like a lot, but trust me, the cake will soak up all of it. And you wanna make sure you're evenly spreading it out everywhere. Look, right now you can't even see the cake. I'll show you guys before I ice it how much it's soaked. So my cake is done. I am going to top it off with strawberries and peach halves. And you can honestly, I think the best way to make this is the day before you want to eat it. So that way that the cake really soaks up all the best flavor. So enjoy.